This is a summary of the lesson for 1C. My other recordings didn't work, so I'm doing this after class. Learning intention for 1C is to be able to construct a scatter plot both on paper and on a graphics calculator. Here is some data. As you can see, we have numerical data. If you remember, with two-way tables, you were dealing with categorical data. Now we're dealing with numerical data, so a scatter plot is more useful here. First row, students 1 to 10, is not part of the data. That's just to identify individual responses. But the middle row, time, is your explanatory variable, so that goes on the horizontal. Number of hours spent studying, and the response is the mark gained for doing that work as a percentage. As you can see, the first student has been plotted. So that student spent 4 hours studying and got 41%. You normally don't label the data points like that. You simply plot them all like that. Point being that until you do that plotting, you cannot see that there is any trend. But now you can see there is a trend. It looks like it's pretty much a straight line. The question is, where does that straight line actually go? Because once you can plot the straight line, you can then make predictions. Now that's what linear regression is all about. We'll come to that next week. Meanwhile, let's just move on. One of the things that you need to be able to be careful about is the range of numbers for your x-axis and your y-axis. Now over here we have the numbers 0 to 40, which corresponds with the numbers in the table. The smallest number is 1 and the highest number is 36. Similarly, with the vertical axis, these marks range, well, we've gone from 0 to 90. In fact, the smallest mark is 23, but that's all right. Make sure when you plot your points that your graph is more or less square, fills up about a quarter of an A4 page, and the data goes from one side to the other, horizontally and vertically. You don't want a collection of data down here or down here and then wasting all the rest of the space. Now, that's on paper. There's an exercise that follows this introduction, which is all about doing questions on paper and in the graphics calculator. The point about the graphics calculator, advantage over paper, is that you will be able to get the actual equation of the line of best fit, which will give you its y-intercept and its gradient, and then from that you'll be able to make predictions. So here we are on your graphics calculator. Stat edit and put the numbers into L1 and L2, making sure you've got the same number of items in each of those columns. Once you have done that, you can pause this recording to make notes. Once you have done that, second function, stat plot, which is at the top left, press enter and select as below. So you want to make sure that plot 1 is on, that it is selected as doing a scatter plot as opposed to anything else. If your data is in L1 and L2, that should be reflected here. Once you've got those settings, you can then go, easy way is zoom 9. What that will do is it will choose a minimum and a maximum x value for you and a minimum and maximum y value for you. These are not the numbers from the previous screen, by the way. So you can change those if you want by pressing the window button. But zoom 9, if it's working properly, it will calculate appropriate values for the minimum of x and maximum of x, minimum of y and the maximum of y, to fill the screen with dots, marks or whatever. Notice on this screen I also have the line of best fit. Well, that's subject to another lesson. I have showed some students how to do that, but I will certainly be making sure that you all know how to do that next week. So, can you construct a scatter plot from data, firstly on paper and secondly on a graphics calculator? We can make sure you can by trying to complete all the questions in 1C that are on pages 16 and 17. Thank you.